Do you like that you can see me behind me? Anywho. Hello friends, welcome to this reading vlog. This reading vlog is an exciting one because I'm about to do something that I have never done in my entire adult life as a reader. It is nothing revolutionary, it is nothing exciting, but it's exciting to me because this is uncharted territory for me. So let me go grab the books that I'll be reading in this vlog and then I'll tell you about them. So recently I shared how I'm being very intentional about finishing series that I've started. So with that, I started to pick up again the Magician's Trilogy by Lev Grossman. And last night I finished The Magician King, which is book 2 in this trilogy. And originally my plan was to go read a novella in the Skyward series to make some headway with that series. But I had this wild and crazy thought of what if I actually just saw the series through right now? So I checked Libby, and sure enough, they had a copy of the final book in the trilogy, The Magician's Land, available. So I checked it out and I started reading it last night. I am not very far in. I fell asleep because I read until I fall asleep. I'm on page 12. So I've got plenty of reading time to go in this, but this will be the first time in my adult reading life where I will be finishing a series back to back. Like, I will normally be like, I deserve a break from this. I should read something else. No, Amanda. See it through while the information is in your brain. So that will be the focus of this vlog, is getting through, I mean, to be like an influencer, like, The Magician's Land. So that is the physical book that I will be reading. Okay, Moose is here now because there's someone outside with a leaf blower. That's what that's called. So he's scared, so he's in here with me now. Really quickly, I have to run, but I will be reading another series and finishing another series in this video, and that series, duology, is Divine Rivals. I am listening to Ruthless Vows. I'm about a third of the way through it. I have some thoughts and some hot takes on the Divine Rivals series. Yes. So follow along with me as I finish these two series, one video. I'm on a roll. I don't know what to say. All right, I'm just sitting down to give you guys a reading update as I just finished part 2 of Ruthless Vows on my evening walk, but I have to show you what Moose looks like right now. He loves to rest his chin. And he is so squished. In case you don't know what the Divine Rivals duology is about, Divine Rivals follows two main characters, Roman and Iris. Roman and Iris both work at the same newspaper, and they kind of start off as enemies, and they both have these magical typewriters that allow them to write letters to each other. And as they write letters to each other, they learn who is writing the letters to each other, and they just have this like heartwarming, like from the bottom of your soul, sweet, very like Jane Austen vibe sort of romance as they fall in love. Yes, I finished part 2 of it, and I think I said this earlier, but when I read Divine Rivals, I liked it. I was not obsessed with it. I don't really know why. Like, the writing is really pretty. I agree. The prose is gorgeous. The world is very rich, but even though it's rich, I feel like I didn't fully get it. I didn't fully understand what was happening and why these gods were at war with each other, other than the fact that it was like a spurned relationship, which to me, I'm like, y'all are gods, and that's petty, but like, I also have read Percy Jackson, and I know gods can be petty. So as I'm going through Ruthless Vows, my biggest question that I have is, why is Deka so obsessed with Roman? I remember when I finished Divine Rivals thinking like, I don't know fully what's happening with these gods, and I feel like there's something happening with Enva that we don't know, or like I don't fully trust her. Like, I don't know why we're all on her side. There was something fishy about Enva, And we don't know a lot about Deka. We just know that Deka is bad and we're fighting him. But now that Roman is with Deka for this book, Deka is like in this weird sort of mentorship role with Roman. I don't know if I'd say mentorship, but they're like, Deka cares about Roman a lot. And like, Roman is great. You know, like, we could all be a little obsessed with him. But like, he's just a journalist. Like, if he was like a soldier, I would get it. Or like someone who would be like a very strategic advantage for him, I would get it. He's a war correspondent. He's a journalist. And I mean, maybe it's just this world, they just love the newspaper. So I feel like there's something there. There's something of why is Deka obsessed with Roman? Is Iris going to meet Enva, and is Enva going to be equally obsessed with her? Like, I don't know. I feel a little hesitant. I feel a little like, there's something going on. There's something going on. Anyway, that's my update for Ruthless Vows. I like it. I don't love it. I think I need to spend some more time simmering in my thoughts with it. I don't know, there's something about like seeing Deka and he's just a dude. Like, these gods they look like people, and there's something in my brain where I'm like, if you're a god, like, you should be like radiant and glowing and like on a cloud and like this big amazing deity, but they're just dudes. And I mean, I get it, like, if humans are made in the image of God, and then God just looks like a dude, and I guess that's just how it works. I am going to continue to listen to it. I'm trying to not listen to it too fast so that way I have plenty of reading updates to give you guys as I read through The Magician's Land, because I'm a slower physical reader than I am an audiobook reader. So I will be popping by with more updates on Ruthless Vows, but for tonight, I'm gonna go shower, get some comfies on, get cozy, get my headphones, and read some of The Magician's Land, and I will give you guys an update on that reading when I get there. Alright, it has been a couple of days, so I am sorely due for a reading update for you guys. So in the past few days, I went to a concert. She's a ghost, not a witch, big difference. My book club celebrated its first birthday. To us, happy birthday. So, reading update wise though, I am about a quarter to a third of the way through The Magician's Land, and I'm realizing I haven't really told you guys what the Magician's trilogy is about, so let me grab it real quick. So this is The Magicians. This is the first book in the trilogy by Lev Grossman. It follows a young man named Quentin in this book who, in his senior year of high school, learns that he is actually a magician. So he is recruited to go to Break Bills, like a magic Hogwartsy school for magicians. And everyone at Break Bills is like obsessed with these magic books they read as a kid that take place in a magical world called Fillory. And as Quentin is going through Break Bills, he starts to like question the existence of Fillory and the overlap between his newly discovered magical world and that one. So this is the first book where he's mostly at Break Bills. Second book is mostly entirely after he's graduated. So in the second book, he goes on an adventure in the theme of the Magician's Land. No, that's the Magician King. The Magician King questions like, what does it mean to be given a quest and to be given an adventure, and also kind of questioning like where their magic comes from and why do they have these abilities when other people don't. So it gets kind of more existential. And then the third one, The Magician's Land, which I'm reading now, but hopefully I can get some more reading done today, tomorrow. Audiobook wise with Ruthless Vows, you guys, I hate to admit it, but I was deceived by the deceptive character. So, you know, can't win them all. I finished part 2. No, I finished part 3. Roman and Iris are reuniting, skirting around each other. It's hard to like talk around it without too spoilery. I'm trying to avoid spoilers. But so seeing Roman and Iris interacting, I have a suspicion that my hesitations with one of the characters is catching up. So I'm like, was I right? Did I predict something right? But those are my reading updates. I will probably be finishing Ruthless Vows in the next couple of days. I think I can finish Ruthless Vows before the end of January because we just have a couple days left at this point. I don't know if I'll be able to finish the Magician's Land. I keep like mixing up the titles because the first book, The Magicians, second book is The Magician King, and then the third book is The Magician's Land. But if we're like escalating in the titles, I feel like it should go Magicians, Magician's Land, Magician King. Like that feels like the logical progression, but I guess that's not really the progression that the story is. But whatever, I digress. I probably won't finish the Magician's Trilogy in January. There he is. But I will probably be finishing it soon, quickly into February. But I'll keep you guys following along. I'll keep you guys updated on my updates. So yeah, that's the update. I've got a couple things I need to get done. I have something in a couple hours. I need to work out, finish some laundry, cook dinner, and then tonight Jeremiah and I are going to see a movie. We're going to see Anyone But You. So yeah, that's my day. I'm not sure if I'll have too much reading time, but I will listen to more Ruthless Vows. I'm going to take Moose on a walk here this afternoon and listen to some more. So that's the plan. It is a lovely day here in Southern California. It's like 75 degrees right now, so I'm taking Moose on a little afternoon walk, listening to some more of Ruthless Vows. It's getting pretty dramatic. For the sake of spoilers, I won't say what's happening, but revelations of Roman's family, they are rolling the war. I think I'm like 65% through is about where I'm at, so I'm enjoying it. I just want them to be in love. I just want them to be in love and be okay, dang it. Oh my gosh, there's an ice cream truck. Moose, there's an ice cream truck. It's summer in January. Here it comes. Actually, that was the creepiest ice cream truck I've ever seen. But I will keep listening, keep reading, making more progress, and I will give you guys another reading update soon. Okay, I have a bit of a commute ahead of me. I have like an hour's drive, and I have like a little over an hour left of Ruthless Vows. So I might finish it on this drive, and I might have a reading update for you when I get home, but I will for sure be finishing it today because today is the last day of January, and I just feel like I need to get it done before the end of the day. I need to get it done for my January wrap-up list. So I'll be finishing Ruthless Vows. I don't know how much of The Magicians I'll be able to read tonight. I have some more work I need to do when I get home, but yeah, Ruthless Vows, it's heating up, folks. It is heating up. All right, I am home. I'm gonna cook dinner so you can join me as I cook, and I also finished Ruthless Vows on my drive home, so I will tell you my thoughts on that because I feel like this is going to be a hot take. It wasn't my favorite, and I'll explain why, but first, let me explain what I'm going to cook for dinner. I'm going to make some pasta. I have some cherry tomatoes, onions. I'm going to zhuzh up a jar of pasta sauce, and that'll be dinner. So the first step, gotta chop an onion. Onions really make me cry, so get ready for some entertainment. Cooks, I'm gonna have these onions caramelize a little bit. Let me talk to you about Ruthless Vows. So I finished it. I I'm glad that I read this series to see what people are talking about, but I think that this series really reminds me of what I look for in a fantasy book. And I look for a book that has really clearly defined magic system rules. And I feel like this book set up rules and then didn't follow them. I think that, Rebecca Ross is a really good writer in the sense that her prose is gorgeous, the letters are lovely, it's very tender-hearted, I would describe it as. It's really sweet. I just feel like, in a fantasy book, like, I like harder fantasy, and romantasy books are always a very, the fantasy elements feel like secondary to the main plot, which is them falling in love. And, if we're talking romances, I think that Roman and Iris's romance is really cute and enjoyable to listen to, but I think that I really struggled with Iris. I really loved Roman. I thought that Roman was, all of his chapters, I was like, yes, here we go, what is happening with him? But with Iris, I was just kind of like, it was a bit of a slog to get through her chapters. Like, I think that's what took me a bit to read this book, was just Iris's chapters. They just did not keep my attention as much as I wanted them to. I think that her priorities as a person weren't priorities that I loved. Like, she had the same debate again and again, it felt like, of, is she going to choose Forrest and her brother, or is she going to choose Roman in this situation? And she's like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? And in my brain, I'm like, girl, like, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Like, go to your husband, go to your man, be with him. And she just, like, didn't feel that. She didn't do that, and that really annoyed me. I struggled with Iris. Roman was really enjoyable. It just didn't hit for me the way that I wanted it to. I think that in the ending, I will not get into spoilers, there is something that was set up that could have been accomplished, that it just wasn't. It was like, this is what happens when this big thing happens in theory. And then we got to that moment where that big thing was happening, and what was foreshadowed as a possibility did not happen. And that, I just thought that we could have had this big tying a bow around everything in the fantasy system moment, and that just didn't happen. If you want to talk to me about specifically what I mean, like what I'm referring to, DM me, comment. But that said, even though it was not my favorite, I finished a series. I'm so proud of myself. I'm officially done with the Divine Rivals duology. I can knock that off of my list. As for the Magicians, like I said earlier, I haven't had that much time to read the Magicians. Last night we went to go see Anyone But You. I thought the movie was fine. I thought that, some of the actors were not great, and some of the line delivery was a bit cringe, but it was very like classic style rom-com, which has a little bit of cutesy cringe moments. But with seeing that movie, I didn't get time to read yesterday. I probably won't have too much time to read tonight because I have some work I need to get done after I cook, but thought that you would enjoy a little update. Okay, here's how we're looking. We got sauce, cooked some onions, cooked down some tomatoes, added a jar of sauce, gonna boil some water for pasta. It's all coming together. Ta-da! Nothing fancy, but dinner is served. Okay, it's been a couple days since my last reading update, and I feel like I don't have that much of an update to do because I have not had a lot of time to read, but I will say it is pouring. It's supposed to rain for like the next 3 days. Look at how hard it's raining. It's just like every book lover's dream. So it's been a couple of days since my last update because I have not really done too much reading. We went to a brewery last night and I read like probably 50-ish pages of The Magician's Land. But y'all, I am struggling. I just feel like I can't get into this book. Like, something about it is just not really keeping my attention. It's like, it's so literary. If you like literary fiction, like, this is your series. My goodness gracious. I'm like Ricky Bobby. I want to go fast, and I cannot read this book fast. There's a lot of flashbacks, is what I think I'm struggling with. And something about flashbacks for me, it feels like, oh, what we're doing right now isn't that interesting, but what I did before, that was interesting. So, like, why not just put me back there? Why do I need to have it be framed around what's happening right now? Isn't that interesting? So, like, I butt heads with flashbacks, and I feel like this book is a lot of flashbacks. It's good, the story is good, I can't get into it. It is kind of taking everything inside of me to not pause this or DNF this because I want to read something that I'm like just excited to read. And right now, reading The Magician's Land feels like more of an assignment than it does like a leisurely activity, which is not at all how I want to feel about what I'm reading. So, yeah, I'm kind of bummed. But I need to get this series done. I need to check this off my list. I'm about halfway through now. Like, I got it. I gotta do it. My Kindle says I have like a little under 6 hours left, I think, which I'm like, oh, that's so much time. But whatever. So I will be reading more of that soon in the upcoming days. For now, this rainy day is setting the vibes, but I have some things I need to get done. I need to get a little workout in, get some schoolwork done, do some cleaning around the house, cook dinner, procrastinate reading this book. I hate that. I hate that so much. So that's all. That's the update. I will keep you posted as I go about my life. Hello, it is another super rainy day here. So rainy, in fact, that all of my commitments requiring me to leave the house today have been moved to Zoom, which means that I don't have to spend time commuting, which means I get much more time to read today. So I figured that today will be spent reading, getting some work done, but also giving you guys a quick reading update because I'm about a little more than halfway through The Magician's Land, and I've had some time to like simmer on my thoughts and boil them down to you guys a little bit more. I'm hoping to get to about page 300 today, so that's in like 85 pages to read, which I think is pretty doable. Right now, I'm in another scene of a flashback, and I'm realizing just how much I dislike flashbacks. To me, flashbacks feel like, you know, the classic like sitcom of like, you're probably wondering how I got here. Let's go back and take a look. And it's going back to take a look. And it's like, yeah, I am interested in how you got here to see how you're doing what you're doing now. But at the same time, why couldn't I have been with you when the interesting thing was happening? So it's a lot of that. It's a lot of Quentin being like, you're probably wondering how I got to this weird thing. And I'm like, yes, Quentin, I am wondering how you got there. And then we go back to where he was before. And it's much more interesting than where he is now. And I'm like, Quentin, why couldn't I have experienced that with you? And then there's another character in this book named Plum. And Plum is doing the same thing of like, you're probably wondering how I got to be such a good magician. And I'm like, well, yeah, I am. And so we get a flashback to that. And I'm like, well, okay. And then now I'm in a part where they're reading a letter. And it's a long letter. And I really struggle with staying engaged while characters are reading letters. Like, I don't know if you've read 1984, but there's a part of 1984 where the main character, I believe his name is Winston, he's reading like a pamphlet for the political party that he's with, and it's just so not engaging. And this is more engaging than that, granted, but it's like they're just sitting down to read a book, and I'm like, something just went really wrong. Like, Quentin and Plum are screwed. And you're gonna sit down to read this letter right now? It's just weird. Other than those, like, narrative structure things I'm bumping up against, this book is written really, really well. I do really like how literary this book feels. Again, being so literary takes a lot of effort to read. Reading the way that the story is framed in a not super engaging way is making it even harder, but I will get this done. I feel like I hit like a dark night of the soul of being like, what am I doing? Why am I even bothering to finish this series if it's not like sparking joy for me? But I'm like, you know what? No, Amanda, you are going to finish this series. You're gonna do it. You like it, Amanda. You do. More or less, you like this series. Nonetheless, I am going to finish it, dang it. I need to finish it by the end of the week so that way I can finish this reading vlog. So, I am gonna go get some coffee, cuddle with Moose, see how much reading I can get done before I need to do like actual adult things today. So that is my little update for you guys, and let's go get some reading done. Welcome to the end of this reading vlog. It is official. I have finished 2 series in 1 video because last night I was like, you know what? It is the last rainy day. I have to finish this series. I have to finish this book. And I did it. I finally finished The Magician's Land, which means that I have finished the whole Magician's trilogy. And like, look at all of these. First of all, look at these spines. They're so pretty. But I've read this whole series now. I'm so proud of myself for seeing it from start to finish. Granted, it took me about a year to do it, but I did it. So my final thoughts on the Magician's trilogy as a whole is that it's a solid like 3.5. I think that my favorite of the 3 was the second one, The Magician King. I really liked this one, got very meta about quests and journeys and adventures and their magic. This one, I think I read this one the fastest. I like this one the most. The one that I struggled with the most, as we all witnessed, was this one. Granted, the ending, the themes of the ending was really good. Again, it did some narrative storytelling things that I didn't love. It was like someone watching what was happening, not someone experiencing what was happening. So it felt like I was like not a part of the story that was happening. So this one was a bit of a struggle, but in the end, it tied up really nicely. Quentin had a very nice arc over, I think that it's like 7 years are in between this first book and the final book. So we see Quentin grow up, we see him learn and grow, and all the characters that he met along the way and their growth. So good ending. I think overall I give this series like I would say like a 3.5. So if you are a literary reader, you're not the biggest fantasy reader, and you're looking for something with just kind of like a little taste of fantasy, I absolutely think that this is a series you should check out. So it might not have been my favorite series, but it is a series I have finished. I finished it, yay! And the other series that I finished in this video was the Divine Rivals duology. Ruthless Vows wasn't my favorite, I know. It didn't sit quite right with me. Character motivations didn't work. There were things that were set up that weren't paid off. Funny enough, now that I think about it, both Ruthless Vows and The Magician's Land, they did similar things in talking about the concept of what happens if a god dies and what happens with the magic that a god has. And in Ruthless Vows, that was set up, didn't entirely get to the point of being paid off. It happens in this book. It happens of what happens when a god dies. How does that magic transfer? So funny to see the thing that I had struggles with in Ruthless Vows, this book did. Anywho, I think that I would give Ruthless Vows, The Divine Rivals duology, I think I'd give it about a 3. Like, it was good. If you read it, do it. I think that overall, 2 solid reads, 2 solid series. After this, I'm gonna go to the list on my phone and like scratch out those 2 series, and now that means I can get into more series. So thank you guys so much for tuning in for this reading vlog, helping me out in finishing 2 series, holding me accountable to finish these series, my gosh. So with that, I will see you guys in another reading vlog and another video soon. Bye.